Hey, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, all honor, all praises to Yahweh Ba'asham and Abishai, to the Hope Collective Israel. This is your brother Shemashawan coming back. And if Yahweh stay the same, we will bring the sense. So there's some confusion about Sirach chapter 18. And we're going to start at verse 13. And if Yahweh say the same, we'll bring the sense. Okay. Sirach 18:13, it says, the mercy of man is toward his neighbor, but the mercy of Yahweh is upon all flesh. He reproveth, he nurtureth, and teacheth, and bringeth again as a shepherd his flock. He have mercy on them that receive discipline, and that diligently seek after his judgments. So we see a lot of poignant words in here that are jumping off at us really quick here, okay? And the first one we're going to start out with is that neighbor, all right? Let's start out with neighbor to get the understanding on neighbor and what that's talking about. Let's go to Leviticus 20. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. Let's go to Leviticus 19 and 17 to get the understanding on neighbor here. All right. So Leviticus 19:17, it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Okay. So we see that this precept is referring to Israel, right? The seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Let's get this neighbor here. Let's get it. Okay, here it is.
Strong's H 5997. Amith.
Okay, there it is. So we see when we go down to the outline of biblical usage, relation, neighbor, associate, fellow. So this is talking about your bloodline here, okay? So, that's the first word. All right, let's go back over to that Sirach and finish giving the sense. If Yahweh say the same, let Yahweh be the truth and everything and everybody a lie, right? So we see after the word neighbor here in that Sirach 18 and 13, we got a semicolon. So now we need to understand what a semicolon does. So I'm on the punctuationmark.com, right? And it's going to illustrate and give the definition and what a semicolon does, right? Semicolon says used to connect closely related independent clauses or to separate items in a complex list. So this is exactly what it's doing, right? Let's go back over here to Sirach 18 and 13. We got the sense. So now it's going to highlight this clause that's coming up, right? It says, but the mercy of Yahweh is upon all flesh. So it's highlighting this, it's supporting what we read earlier, okay? So now we see after all flesh, we have a colon here. Let's go and get the understanding on what a colon does and how it works, okay? Let's go back over to punctuationmark.com here. It says a colon used to introduce a list, quote, or explanation. So it's going to explain everything that's going to follow it. Okay, let's go back over to Sirach 18, right? And all right, so after Sirach 18:13, it says, but the mercy of Yahweh is upon all flesh. And we got the colon. So now it's going to give a list and it's going to support it, right? He reproveth, okay? Let's see who Yahweh reproveth, okay? Now, even before we go there, I want to get Amos right quick. Let's go to Amos real quick and get some understanding that Yahweh, he don't even recognize the other nations. He don't know these people like that, right? So here, let's get it. Right, let's go to Amos 3 and 2, right? So we see Amos 3 and 2 at the top. It's talking about Israel right there, right? So, that's the narrative. Amos 3 and 2, it says, you only, talking about Israel, you only have I known of all, not some, but all the families of the earth, right? So Yahweh is saying that he's only known Israel out of all the families of the earth. Now we know that there are 18 nations, right? Esau is the 17th, we're the 18th. Okay, so all 17 nations, Yahweh don't know them people. Right, so let's go back over to Sirach. Let's go back over to Sirach, right? And get the reprovers. Let's see who Yahweh reproves, okay? It's gonna be H. It's gonna be H. Slakia, here. Let's get a precept. Let's go to Isaiah 29 and 21, right? To see what this reprove means. Isaiah 29 and 21. Let's get that to get the understanding. Through thy precepts, we get understanding, not our own vain thought. Okay. We're going to need the precepts. So now let's go to Isaiah chapter 29, and we're going to start at verse 21. It says, now this is referring to Israel here. It says, that man, it's like that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Right? So we see that this reproveth, right? Talking about Israel here. It's going to be, where's that rascal? Here it is right here. Reproveth in the gate.
Strong's H 3198. Yachach. Yachach.
There it is. So now we go down to the outline of biblical usage. We're going to see to prove, decide, judge, rebuke, reprove, correct, be right. Right? So this is referring to Israel. Right? So now let's go back over and finish that up in Isaiah 29 and 21. It says, that maketh a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Just like Isaiah and Jeremiah and all of the prophets, they went to Israel, right? At the center gate, and they rebuked them, right? At the gate, at the entrance of the gate. And people hated that. Israel hated that, right? And turned aside the just for a thing of naught. 22, it says, therefore, thus says Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. But when he seeth his children, the work of my hands in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, right? And sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear Yahweh, power of Israel, right? They also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, right? And they that murmured shall learn doctrine. So we see, that all these poignant words, they're referring to Israel, to reprove, right? Right? So we got that, right? So here, let's go back over to Wisdom of Solomon to finish this thing up, if Yahweh said the same, right? So now, let's go back over to Sirach 18:13. It says, he reproveth and nurture. Let's see who Yahweh nurtures, okay? Let's see who Yahweh nurtures, okay? And that nurture is going to be G3809. I'm going to go to Ephesians chapter 6. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6 and 4. Here it is here. Okay. So it says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of Yahweh. So this is talking about Yahweh, in terms of Yahweh nurturing us. It's like a father would nurture his son and his daughter, okay? Right? Let's get the understanding on that, right? Where's that nurture at? Let's get the definition of that nurture. Here it is here.
Strong's G 3809. Paideia.
Okay, there it is. So when you go down to the outline of biblical usage, right? It has a lot over here, right? So one's going to be instruction, which aims at increase. It's like it says, instruction which aims at increasing virtue or understanding, right? Chastisement, chastening. So this is what Yahweh does to us. So we see that all these words in Sirach 18 is referring to Israel in this instance, in this narrative, okay? So now we looked at all of that. We looked at nurture. So now it says, go back over there, Sirach 18:13. It says, he reproveth, right? And also, Slakia, we got it, right? In terms of that colon, because we got a colon here. Let's get that right quick. That colon again is after flesh, all flesh. Let's get that colon again, right, and see what this all flesh is talking about, right? Because this is what it's going to do. Let's bring that out again. What a colon does. It says used to introduce a list, quote, or explanation. So this is exactly what that colon is doing right after you see all flesh. It's explaining all of that, right? Okay. He reproveth, he nurtureth, and teacheth, and bringeth back. Okay. Let's see who Yahweh teaches. Okay. Let's go over to let's go to the law. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 11, and we're going to bring out verse 19. Let's see who Yahweh teaches, okay? Is Yahweh teaching the other nations? Let's see, okay? Deuteronomy 11:19, it says, and ye shall teach them your children. This is Moses talking to the children of Israel, okay? He ain't talking to the other nations outside of Israel, right? And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So we see that Yahweh teaches Israel. He don't teach no other nations like that, okay? Now the other flip side of that, he teaches, and he also bringeth again. Let's see who Yahweh's going to bring again here, okay? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. Let's see who Yahweh is going to bring again. Let's go to Jeremiah 30:3 and see who Yahweh brings again. Okay. This is Jeremiah 30:3, right? It says, for lo, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will bring again, that is, bring again, the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. So we see that it's talking. All this is talking about Yahweh, right? It is referring to Israel, right? It's referring to Israel. So, right here. Let's finish that thing up. Let's go back over to Sirach 18:13, right? So we saw to bring back again, as a shepherd his flock. Let's see who the shepherd and the flock is, Israel. Let's go to John 10:11. Let's go to John 10:11 and see who the shepherd and the flock is, Israel. Let's go to John 10:11. So now this is Mashiach Yahushua, red letter. It says, I am the good shepherd. You got a colon there, right? It's going to explain it. The good shepherd giveth his sheep for, it's like it says, the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. What sheep is that? That's talking about Israel, Israelites. So we see that this Sirach 18 and 13 and 14 is referring to Israel. It's not referring to other nations. This is particularly talking about Israel. Look at 14. It says, he have mercy on them that receive discipline and that diligently seek after his judgments. Remember, Yahweh told us to seek him, to diligently seek him early. What does that early mean? Before the destruction, right? What nation has only known Yahweh's judgments? Israel, right? Let's get that right quick. Where's that rascal? Let me see. I think it's Psalms. Let me see. Con. Let's go to Psalms 147-19. He said, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So we see that the Sirach 13 and 18 and 14, the Sirach 18, 13 and 14 is referring to Israel. I ain't talked about the other nations there. Okay. Let's go back over there and make sure we get all the meat off of that, right? So now, on the second part of this, we're going to bring out Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 23, because it's another one that'll trip people up if they don't have the understanding, okay? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 11, and we're going to look at verse 23. Look at this right here. It says, but thou hast mercy upon all. You got a semicolon there. For thou canst do all things, and winketh at the sins of men, because thou should amend. It's like because they should amend. Now, we're going to see something right here, right? We're going to see that that Nebuchadnezzar sinned, right? Let's get that right quick. But this sin is a different sin from the sins of Israel, okay? Let's go over to Daniel, right? Let's go to Daniel chapter 4, and we're going to get verse 27, right? This is Daniel 4:27, and Daniel is talking to Nebuchadnezzar. It says, wherefore, O king, let my counsel be accepted unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness. Right? So we see that that Nebuchadnezzar sinned, right? 28. Right, it says, all this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. So we see this it's referring to Nebuchadnezzar. But now watch this sin right here. This is a different sin right here, okay? Here it is right here.
Strong's H 2408. Chatai. Chatai.
Okay, so now we go down to the outline of biblical usage. It just says sin, okay? It says sin. And it's only found one time in the scriptures, and we just read it right there in that Daniel 4:27 and 28, okay? So now, right, we're going to see, right? So now we see that sin is going to be, that Nebuchadnezzar committed, is going to be H 2408. Now watch this, Israel. Check this out. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 12. Now watch this sin, right? Watch this. It says, Isaiah 59:12, it says, for our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us, for our transgressions are with us, right? And as for our iniquities, we know them. Now, let's see what this sin is right here. It's going to be completely different right here, this sin, right? See, watch it. Here it is.
Strong's H 2403. Chata'ah. Chata'ah.
Okay, so now we see it's a whole.
Chatath.
God. So we see, it's a different understanding in terms of what the sin that Nebuchadnezzar committed, comparing to the sins that Israel, that we commit. Okay, so when you go down to the outline of biblical uses, it's going to say sin, sinful, sin, sin offerings, right? Condition of sin, guilt of sin, punishment for sin. So we see that it's different, right? And the reason why I brought that out is because we're going to see at the last part of the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11, that we're able to amend those things, okay? And we're going to see that only Israel can do that, right? So I'm going to pick it back up. Wisdom of Solomon 11:23, it says, but thou hast mercy upon all, right? semicolon, it's going to explain it. For thou canst do all things, and winkest at the sins of men, because they, right, should amend. So now we see that they is a possessive pronoun, right? So it's referring to something. So now we need to get a precept to see who can amend sins here. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 7, okay? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 7, and we're going to see who can amend these sins, right? What people can do that, right? Jeremiah 7:3, it says, thus says Yahweh, power of hosts, the power of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Okay, so we see that's talking about Israel in terms of them being able to amend those sins. In the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and 23. I'm going to jump down to verse 5. Here it is. It says, for if ye thoroughly amend your sin, your ways and your doings, got a semicolon there, if ye thoroughly execute judgment, there's that judgment we just saw earlier, right, between a man and his neighbor. All the words right there, neighbor, judgment, okay, amendment. So we see that both of those precepts, the Sirach 18, 13, and 14 is referring to Israel, right? And that the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and 23 is referring to Israel. It's not referring to the other nations outside of Israel, okay? So I hope that this lesson, you know what I'm saying, was insightful in terms of bringing understanding and clarity. I want to give all glory, all honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, the hopeful elect. Shalom.